Hey there everyone, welcome back to another Game Vault video. As always, I'm Captain Beefy, and with the Game Vault, man, we're talking about, once again, Ubisoft. These guys just can't catch a break. Can't catch a break. We mentioned this briefly yesterday in a video, and let's just get into it. Assassin's Creed Origins reviews plummet amid game-breaking updates, while Shill Access Media calls it review bombing. Let's cue up the music and we'll talk about this. All right, so it looks like Ubisoft's troubles have mounted in 2025, with the PC version of Assassin's Creed Origins becoming the latest casualty of the company's ongoing woes. Steam users have flooded the game with negative reviews, dropping its recent review rating to mixed. While some legacy access media outlets, including IGN, have characterized this as review bombing, it's important to challenge this label. What we're witnessing isn't a coordinated campaign to unfairly tank the game's reputation or unfairly malign a studio that's simply trying to do its best. Rather, it's genuine consumer frustration with a product that, for many, no longer functions. So, what happened was, I guess they did some kind of update or some kind of patch, and the game doesn't work now, right? So, does this constitute a review bomb? I mean, kind of does, I would say, right? It's not saying that it's not an unfair thing, right? If the game's not working, the game sucks. I mean, that's just point blank. Now, if they fix it, people can go in and adjust those reviews. But if you're looking to buy Assassin's Creed Origins right now in the state it's in, you deserve to know what's going on. You deserve to know that a lot of people are having trouble with it, and you deserve to understand that if you buy this game, it might not work properly for you. So, hey, caveat emptor, buyer beware. Anyway, the backlash stems from a November Windows 11 update, version 24H2, that rendered several Ubisoft titles, including Assassin's Creed Origins, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and Star Wars Outlaws, unplayable. Thankfully, no one was playing Star Wars Outlaws, so it likely led to very little frustration. Ouch. Anyway, issues ranged from black screens and freezing to games failing to launch altogether. Microsoft acknowledged the severity of the problem, implementing a compatibility block on Windows updates for affected systems and recommending users avoid manual installation of version 24H2. God, I can't talk today. Anyway, Ubisoft, meanwhile, scrambled to address the fallout, issuing fixes for Star Wars Outlaws and Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. However, Origins and other Assassin's Creed titles remain unplayable for many, with no definitive resolution in sight. Players turning to Steam reviews to voice their grievances is a natural consequence of this prolonged silence and inaction. And you can't blame players for that, man. Gamers are a fickle lot. Don't piss off gamers. They will make their anger known. They will make it known publicly. They will tell a million other people what's going on. They will make videos about it. They will post it on social media. They will bomb you with bad reviews. And, in this instance, I got to say it's legit. I got to definitely say it's legit. Anyway, negative reviews for Assassin's Creed Origins began to spike in December and peaked as 2025 began. The content of these reviews consistently highlights the same problem. The game simply doesn't work. Unlike traditional review bombing campaigns where scores are deliberately tanked for reasons unrelated to the product itself, e.g. controversial business practices or political stances, these reviews focus squarely on the game's functionality or lack thereof. And that's legitimate, man. That's a legitimate 100% perfectly fine grievance to have. Now, the other grievances, to some extent, are good to have as well. You can be upset with a game or a company if they're doing things you don't like, right? If they're putting something in a game you don't like, something, political stances or whatever, that's up to you. That can ruin a game for you. There are things that ruin games that are not related to the game's functionality. It can be the political stance. It could be the narrative behind the game. It could be all kinds of stuff. So, review bombing, it's a touchy subject, because it works both ways. There's also people that will go in and just put in positive reviews, 10 out of 10s, because they want to elevate a product that doesn't deserve it. So reviews, scores on the internet, they really don't mean much anymore, to be honest with you. They really don't. Can you trust them? Can you trust a Metacritic score? Can you trust a user score? Can you trust Rotten Tomatoes? IMDb for movies. I mean, I guess to some degree you can, because maybe the good and the bad kind of balance each other out to some degree. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. It's kind of weird, the way things work. Maybe there is some kind of balance in the grand scheme of things, Maybe not. What I do is, I try to look at a game. I try to look at the people working on it, the previews of it. I look at but I take a good hard look at the people working on it. If there are a bunch of nose ring, blue-haired women, then I'm probably going to avoid that game until it comes out. If I see previews of it and it looks like Dragon Age Veilguard with Fortnite-looking characters and the color purple heavily advertised throughout the game, I'm staying away from it and all that. So anyways, back on track here with Origins. Origins was a good game. A lot of people didn't like the turn that Assassin's Creed took when it went to Origins and it went to this bigger, more open world type game. But Origins was well received as far as these larger Assassin's Creed games went. And it worked. It was fine, But now it sucks because of this, and it's a shame. Hopefully they get this fixed soon. Anyway, when players purchase a game, they expect it to perform as advertised. If a game becomes unplayable due to external factors, whether from a third-party update or developers' oversight, it's not just fair but necessary for customers to leave honest reviews reflecting their experience. This feedback serves as a critical check, holding companies accountable and pushing for action to rectify these issues. Now, IGN's insistence that this was a review bomb campaign seems to point to a concentrated effort to shield a major AAA gaming studio while once again placing blame firmly at the feet of the paying customer. While it's true that much of the fault for these issues lie with Microsoft, Ubisoft managed to correct issues pertaining to other titles before now. It's been 2 months and players are understandably frustrated. YouTuber Endymion once summed up similar thoughts about IGN's common tactics, saying, "You can't spell ignorant without IGN." It's true. Ubisoft's really suffering right now. We talked about that yesterday. You can check out yesterday's video if you want to see just how bad their stock is doing. And it looks like they might be on the verge of bankruptcy this year, which is really, really terrible for them. So this kind of stuff is not going to help. Anyway, the timing of this backlash couldn't be worse for Microsoft or for Ubisoft. The company's been grappling with financial and operational challenges, including mass layoffs, studio closures, and a steep decline in market value. Once a titan of the gaming industry, Ubisoft's market capitalization has plummeted from $12.17 billion in January 2021 to just $1.78 billion in January 2025, a staggering 85% drop. The delayed release of Assassin's Creed Shadows, disappointing sales of Star Wars Outlaws, and mounting debt had only worsened Ubisoft's precarious position. Industry experts warn that if Shadows underperforms, Ubisoft could face bankruptcy by the end of the year. Now, their ongoing struggles illustrate the delicate balance required to sustain goodwill in the gaming community. Players are more than willing to rally behind developers when treated fairly, as evidenced by the enduring popularity of the Assassin's Creed franchise, but when technical failures go unresolved and communications break down, that goodwill evaporates. Now, IGN's classification of this situation as review bombing misses the mark and trivializes legitimate consumer grievances. These reviews are not an attack on Ubisoft, but a plea for accountability, transparency, and resolution. Ignoring this distinction undermines the trust between players and the industry at large, setting a dangerous precedent for dismissing genuine feedback. And they're right. I'm not a fan of Ubisoft right now. I was a fan. They were great. They were one of the greats. And I'm definitely not a fan of IGN. I find them to be pretty despicable. I mean, every now and then they'll put out an article that is tolerable, and every now and then they'll put out one that's decent, and you're like, wow, you actually wrote something that's worth reading and discussing. But for the most part, they are shills. And this is a legitimate concern. You can't carry water for a company like this, even though they didn't make the mistake. This was a Microsoft error. I get it. I get that 100%. But Ubisoft should be out in front of this, saying, "Hey, we're working on this. This is our timeline. This is where we stand on this." The fact that they already fixed it for Outlaws and they fixed it for Pandora, the whatever game, the Avatar game, shows that it can be done. Why aren't they doing it for Assassin's Creed? Give an explanation. If it's one thing I've always said, I worked in sales in the past, and I did like full restaurant jobs and stuff like that. And no news is the worst, right? Good news or bad news can be delivered and can be dealt with, right? It's better to hear bad news, because then you can make plans for something, than to hear no news at all. If you don't know what's going on, you can only imagine the worst. And there's no way for you to plan for resolution. There's no way for you to understand what your next step is and what you need to do. So communication is important. If they say, "Hey, look, we're working on this, but right now this is horrible. We don't understand what's going on, and this is bad. This may take 6 months to fix." Hey, it's going to take 6 months to fix, but they're working on it, But dead silence and to not be, keeping people updated, that's the worst. And I see a lot of developers do stuff like that. And that's really, really frustrating. And that's very poor communications with their community relations, if you want to call it that. Very, very poor. Another company that's terrible with that is Wildcard. Although they seem to be getting a little bit better with that, for the most part, they're pretty bad with it. At least they were, where they would just kind of like have radio silence on certain things. I would rather know on a weekly basis, like they've been planning on doing an update to Ark Survival Ascended, where they're going to bring us into the Unreal 5.4. Now it looks like Unreal 5.5. And sometimes you'll go weeks and months without any update on when that's happening. They've already missed their mark more than once on when that was supposed to occur. But we should have a weekly update on it. Hey, we're still working on it. We're still aiming for this time frame, just to let you know. And and if things start to get hairy and ugly, say, "Look, we're aiming for that time frame, but it's not looking good. We've run into some issues, so expect delays." And then you can change your expectations, because when you're expecting something and you're looking forward to it, that's when you get aggravated. That's when you get upset. That's when you get angry. So anyway, to wrap this up, honest criticism isn't review bombing. It's consumer advocacy. Ubisoft and IGN would do well to listen. So what do you guys think, man? Do you think fans are actually review bombing this? Is IGN running cover for Ubisoft over this? Let me know down below in the comments what your thoughts are. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and to ring that bell for notifications. As always, look out to Beefy with the Game Vault. I will see you next time. Until then, peace.